Done this one.
Okay, good. Okay, guys and girls. Bone development. The other day in class, we started talking about some of the functions of the bone. We said the bone has 5 main functions. There are 5 things that your skeletal system does for your body. Do you remember this discussion? Can you name one for me? Can someone name one? Tiffany? Okay, the bone system allows for movement. Let's write some of these down. Okay, number 1, it allows for movement. Okay, what else does the skeletal system do for our body? Yes? Oh, wonderful. Storage. Storage of minerals. What are some minerals that we store, by the way, in our skeletal system? Some useful minerals and things we store. Name one? Calcium. Okay, good. Name another one? Yeah, good. Minerals. That's great. Well, we got calcium. Is there another one that you remember our discussion with? Vitamins and minerals are 2 different things. We have a group that's going to tell us all about that in a couple of weeks. Okay, we mentioned calcium, silica, and we also mentioned phosphorus, are some things that we mentioned in class. Okay, let's go on. Number 3, what's the third thing that the skeletal system does for us? Scott?
Supports the body.
It does. And supports, it adds structure to the body. Supports. Remember the example we gave in class the other day. Those of you that have been camping before, right? We had the tent laying out, and it's all ready to go. We've got camping, but we forgot the supports. We forgot the little fiberglass or the aluminum poles and hold it up. How successful are we going to be in making the tent? Other than if you go out and buy some, get some sticks out of the woods, right? If you forgot your supports, what's the tent going to do? It's going to lay there. We can understand or we can imagine what our bodies look like without the skeletal system. How much we can get done. Yes, Tiffany. Wonderful answer. One of the 2 types of blood cells that we know that it makes. Kayla? There? What do red blood cells do for you, Kayla? What do we need red blood cells for? Can you tell me? Wonderful answer. Transport oxygen. Even transports carbon dioxide back out of the body, right? Good. Transports gases. What do white blood cells do for us? What do white blood cells do? Yeah, go ahead.
Help clear out your body of all bacteria.
Very nice answer. Very nice. It helps clean the body, keeps it cleaned out. Bacteria, infections, things like that. Hey, number 5. What's the 5th thing that the skeletal system is going to do for us, Brad?
It protects us.
Okay, good. It protects us. How does it protect us? How does the skeletal system protect us, Daniel?
It protects it breathes right. Because it's hard.
Okay, give me an example of an organ that's protected by the skeletal system. Go ahead, Daniel. Okay, the heart is protected by the skeletal system. Name another one. Okay, the lungs are protected. Never mind. But okay, your stomach is down here, okay, but it is semi-protected by the rib cage. Go ahead. Okay, the brain is another really important one that's protected. Okay, let's stop there. Okay, guys and girls, these are the 5 functions of the skeletal system. Now, what we need to do is we need to talk about the beginnings of the developing of the bone itself. Now, when you guys and girls, when we were all born, when we first came into this world, our bones were not exactly the way they are now. Anybody have any idea of what our bones were probably like when we were born? Gary?
Smaller.
Okay, smaller? That's true, much smaller. Donna? Excuse me? You know, we say fragile. We say that the bones of the baby are fragile. But you know, that's really not true. That's really, really not true. And there's a reason for that. That's where we're headed. Go ahead. Okay, here we said, say it again. They're flexible, they've been more easy. You said that they were surrounded by. Okay, he's almost there. They are flexible, they do bend more easily. But are they surrounded by more cartilage? I think the proper way to say it is what? They are. They are made of cartilage. The bones of a young child's body are mainly made up of cartilage. As a matter of fact, the way the bones part or solidify themselves is by adding what to them? And you guys have told me already those things. Okay, good. Say it again. Okay, calcium. Say it again. Minerals, good. Calcium, minerals, phosphorus, silicon, all those things added. We know that if we add minerals to the bones, just like we do if we add minerals to the rock, what's going to happen to the bones? Say it again. They're going to harden. That's why rocks are so hard, is because they have minerals in it. Put your chair down. Break my chair. Okay, the rocks are so hard because of the mineral content in them, and your bones are so hard because of the mineral content also. Guys and girls, if we took a bone and we boiled it or leached out, or pulled out the minerals out of the bone, what could we do with the bone? If it isn't brittle or hard, what could we do? Yeah. Guys and girls, we could take a bone, we could tie it into a knot, and it wouldn't break. Whoa. We could tie a bone, we could tie it in a knot, it wouldn't break. So, developing bones, most of us start out, all the babies, start out with cartilage. Mostly the body's made up of cartilage. Now, where can I find cartilage on my body? How can I see an example of what cartilage is truly like? Okay, everybody go. Get your ears. Okay, right here, where else? Where else? Go. Your nose. Tip of your nose. Do this. Tell me something about cartilage now. Tell me something about cartilage. What do you know about cartilage now? Go. Okay, it's fine. Okay, she says it's bendable. Anything I heard? It's bendable, yeah? Yeah, hurts when you pull it. Go ahead. Softer than bone, bendable. It's very flexible and bendable. It's squishy. Guys and girls, I think it's amazing though. Even though it is softer and bendable, it does still support. It does still hold up the support. It has shape. It supports the muscle or the flesh around it. So cartilage does have some neat characteristics. If you want to see cartilage up close and personal, next time you eat chicken or chicken breast, go down to the very tip of the breast there, and you got that white rubbery stuff. Ooh, yeah, that's it. That's the cartilage. Ooh, the cartilage. Now, let's talk about a developed bone, or the bone structure itself. Now, what I've got up here is an incredible, probably a world-famous picture of a bone that I drew up there myself. I want you to, I did this myself. I did. Okay. Thank you. Throw money now. Okay, here we go. Now, let's talk about some of the different structures. First of all, there's the white out here that surrounds the outside of the bone. It tends to be a sleeve that surrounds the bone. What do we call this sleeve? Anybody look ahead in their book? No. No. Everybody say the word. Just a minute. Everybody say the word periosteum. One more time. Periosteum. Periosteum is a protecting sleeve that surrounds the outside of the bone. So if we look over here, by the way, what's the longest bone on the human skeleton? What is it?
Femur.
Say again? Yeah, the femur. Very good. So if I take this femur or any bone here, and I look at this bone right here, if I look at this bone is going to be surrounded by a sleeve or a membrane that's called the periosteum. Now, what's the purpose, or what do you think we could get out of the periosteum? What do you think the purpose of that bone structure could be? Why would you want a sleeve around this bone? Oh. Very nice answer. Give more support. Name something else. What do you think? Take your guesses.
Protected.
Good answer.
Oh, it might not hurt.
Okay, good. Protection, support are the two things I keep hearing. Let's add a couple more things to it, right? The periosteum allows food, oxygen, and nutrients to get to the bone by traveling underneath itself. It allows it to get to the bone. Let's just say, that Eric goes out for track. Let's say Eric goes out for track. He becomes this great long jumper, and in during practice, he's running down the runway. He gets to the board. He's kind of stepping, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, off the board. Big hit, boy. Boom. He's up in the air. He's driving forward. He lands. All of a sudden, he realizes, the takeoff. He's got what's called a hairline fracture. He's got a crack that runs down the face of the bone. It's a little crack. Now, that periosteum is going to be really important because the periosteum is a protecting sleeve that not only protects and supports, but it's also going to allow nutrients and calcium and other repair needed material into that area. It has growth cells in it that's going to allow the growth and repair of that area. It's there for development, also there for repair, not just support and not just to protect, but it's there for repair. The periosteum is really important, especially at your age, for the growth that you guys are going to go through. As your bones get longer, you guys get bigger. Let's go down to the next one. The yellow inside. We call this hard bone, but the word that your book's going to use is called compact bone. Compact bone. Take a guess. What do you think is going to be found in compact bone? You've already told me again today what you think bone is made out of, or some things that are found in bone. What's going to make this bone hard? What is it that's found inside this compact bone layer? Go ahead, Scott.
Calcium.
Good, calcium. There's number one right there. Name it. Okay, narrow, we'll talk about that in a minute. Hold that thought. Anybody else? I think in general, the ballpark idea would be all those minerals we talked about. Elastic fibers, and all the minerals that make up the bone. The minerals are found in the compact bone. That's the hardness of the bone. By the way, is the bone living or non-living? In other words, this hard compact, let's talk about the compact bone. This really, really hard stuff. Is that living or non-living? Sorry, what? You think compact bone's living? No? How many say no? 1, 2, 3. How many say yes, it's living? Actually, it is living. You know, and I've got some microscope slides, and hopefully by the end of the class period, if we have time, I have some slides already for you guys to see, some actual bone cells. But bone cells are living because we know the bones grow, don't they? We know the bones repair themselves, right? Yeah. Okay, so we have to have living cells there to make this happen. Okay, this is called compact bone. Let's go down a little bit further here. Let's start at the very top here. There's the end of the bone right here, the very cap of the bone. You know, where all the big structure, where all the support's going to be, where all this pressure is going to be when you're walking and jumping and running, and it's the thickest part of the bone. You may know what this part's called? I like that. You said it's soft, but you're absolutely right. Spongy bone. Spongy bone. Guys and girls, spongy bone, because it's made just like, it looks and feels just like a sponge. No, it doesn't feel like a sponge. It looks a little bit like it, but it doesn't feel like a sponge. See, here's why. Look at the skeletal system here. Just think about this. In comparison to the rest of the body, this is pretty heavy, isn't it? Man, it's all this bone and stuff right here. You think that the body is, a lot of the body weight's made up of bone. It's not true. It's not true at all. All the space this bone takes up and all the hardness there, everything combined. This is 200 and what? How many bones in the average? You guys told me 260 of it. 206 bones. And you guys, there's even more than there is in me. I have about 206. You got more than I do. You know why? Well, because you're younger. You're bless you. Oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, you got more than I do. Because as you're younger, your bones are separated, and then eventually, over time, as you get older, they begin to fuse together. Some of the bones will eventually become one bone. Matter of fact, if I'm an archaeologist, and I'm on this archaeological dig, and I find the skeletal remains of this body, I can tell how old the body is, and what sex it is also, by the structure of the bone, but I can also tell by whether or not certain areas of the body are fused or brought together. I can look, for instance, at the sternum, the breastplate, and the breastplate on a young boy or girl and a baby is separated into 3 separate sections. But on an older person like myself, who's not very old, this section, this breastplate, this sternum, begins to fuse together and form one large bone. So by observing bones, by looking at bones, you can tell a lot about a person and their age and sex and everything. Now, what are we going to tell me? Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay, let's keep that thought. I'm going to say this last thing, then we'll go right to that. Guys and girls, the answer to this is the bone structure does not make up most of the body weight. Matter of fact, it only makes up about the average bone skeletal system makes up about 14% of your whole body weight, only 14%. And it's because of what she just said, spongy bone is made up of what? Folds. Try to imagine a bridge, a great big bridge. Now, if you want this bridge to be real strong, what are they going to do to the structure of the bridge to make it really strong? What are some things you've seen before? You want to make a bridge strong. What are you going to do to it?
Make a skeletal system or make it like put being just started out.
Okay, go on.
Put like things to hold up the spider remains to hold it up.
Pillars and things like that. Keep going.
Here.
It's okay. Come on, Daniel. What do you got?
The base or structure.
Okay, we got the base, we got the pillars, but I want to reinforce it. I want to make it really strong. What am I going to do to it? Haven't you seen them? The girders, the things that crisscross, and the cables, and all the things that hold it together, the crisscrossing here, guys and girls. That crisscrossing, those girders, those supports. They don't put one big solid sheet of metal up there or something like that to hold it. No, they put crisscrosses and girders and beams and supports. And guys and girls, it's those structures there that make the bridge light enough to stay standing, but strong enough to withstand a lot of pressure. This spongy bone does the same thing. It does the same thing. The spongy bone is fully enforced just like a sponge. That's why they call it spongy bone. But it's really hard, it's durable, it's strong, but it's lightweight. 14% of the human body's weight made up of the skeletal system. Only 14%. The spongy bone, the key to that, is very strong. Fat cells are contained at the end of your bone, by the way, inside the spongy bone for nutritious storage for later use of the baby. Okay, let's go on down here. Some of you have already mentioned this. What do we call the middle section of the bone? Last thing we'll talk about. Bone marrow. Okay, somebody tell me something about bone marrow. Somebody tell me something about the bone marrow. Go. Ah, I like it. You're so wonderful. You get what of it? 2 types. 2 types of bone marrow. What are they? Good? Yep, absolutely. Now, so obviously you guys know something. So what does red bone marrow make? What does red bone marrow make? What's the difference? There's something different about it. What do we know about red bone marrow? Okay, good. And we just said red blood cells do what? Good. Carry oxygen, carbon dioxide. So that's where the red blood cells in your body are made. Tell me about yellow bone marrow. What's the difference? Tiffany? Okay, you know, it does make some white blood cells, but the book identified 2 different things about yellow bone marrow. 2 other things about yellow bone marrow. Who can tell us? It didn't say it made white blood cells, but what does it do? You know? Oh, wonderful. It's lined with fat cells, and again, for more nutrition and more storage. And it's also lined with blood vessels that go through the middle of the bone that support it, feed it, and do all those things right there. Okay. Now, this information right here, guys and girls, bone review. We talked about all the bones of the body. We mentioned them, we talked about it, we've gone over them. We talked about the quiz system. Remember, the organ systems are coming up. Okay, bone development and structure. We talked a little bit about today. Please remember, there are 5 main functions of the skeletal system. You mentioned the structure of the bone itself, but there's spongy bone, periosteum, compact bone, bone marrow, 2 types of bone marrow. 2 types of bone marrow.